OET listening test is a test of English designed for medical professionals. Unlike the writing and speaking sections of the exam, it is not designed for medical professionals from a specific medical background. Rather, it's a test that is designed to relate all medical professionals' experiences. The exam, in total, will last for approximately 40 minutes and it is divided into 3 sections. Each section has a specific focus and design. Part A has 24 questions divided over 2 dialogues both between a medical professional and a patient. The question format for Part A is a gap-fill format. Part B has 6 multiple-choice questions with 3 options for each question. Each question will relate to a separate recording that lasts between 40 to 60 seconds. Part C also has multiple-choice questions with 3 options for each. However, there are 12 questions in this section in total, with 6 questions relating to 2 separate recordings. The recordings in Part C will either involve a presentation or an interview with a medical professional, normally one of each. As stated above, you will only have one opportunity to listen to each of the recordings. As a result, you must write down your answers to the questions as you listen. Part A is the most challenging section in all of 3 sections. OET listening Part A contains the highest number of questions and also the difficult one. The subtest is to check your ability to listen carefully and process the important information from the audio in an effective and quick manner. Here are some of the top strategies to get full score in Part A. First, make use of 30 seconds pause to read the whole consultation extract and you will hear the answers in the same order as they are printed on the question paper. Second, you should follow the notes closely as you listen. You will be helped by the fact that the notes are organized into sections with headings and subheadings. Third, move on with the conversation, don't stick with particular gaps if you couldn't find out the answers. You may miss the further answers. Fourth, underline the verb or adjective before and after the gaps. Fifth, try to predict the answers. Sixth, conscious about synonyms and be familiar with different structures in the sentence. 7. Make use of the articles if present to predict the vowel word answers, before and after the gaps. 8. Don't write more than 2 or 3 words or phrases. 9. The words, answer, that fill the gaps are taken directly from the dialogues, so there is no need to transform words to make them fit. However, the language before and after the gaps is not usually the same as the recording, so you need to use your knowledge of synonyms and paraphrasing to recognize when the speakers are discussing the subject of the answer. 10. Pay particular attention to the speaker's use of intonation, pauses and signposting words to identify a change of subject. 11. Listen to medical podcast interviews. News and presentations is a great way to build your exposure to English. In Part B, use the 15 seconds in between each of the audio recordings to help you find the correct answer. Here are some of the top strategies to get full score in Part B. First, read the questions and underline the keywords before you listen to the audio, which help you to focus. Second, read the options and underline the keyword for each options which help you to focus. Third, identify the speakers correctly and understanding gist of communication. 4. Beware of synonyms and paraphrasing. You shouldn't expect to hear the exact words used in the questions or answers in the recordings. 5. Identify the answers that fits correctly. OET listening Part C is often cited by candidates as being the most challenging of the listening sections. Like OET listening Part B, it uses a multiple-choice format. However, unlike Part B, the texts are of an extended nature, typically around 6.5 to 7 minutes in length. Keeping focused on extended recordings like this can be tricky, particularly as there is only one main speaker, meaning that more information can be included at a faster pace. Here are some of the top strategies to get full score in Part C. First, read the questions and underline the keywords before you listen to the audio, which help you to focus as Part B. Second, read the options and underline the keyword for each options, which help you to focus. 3. Listen for direct meaning and inferred meaning. For questions about direct meaning, you will be asked about the speaker's main idea. Questions about inferred meaning might focus on the speaker's attitude. Look out synonyms and paraphrasing, which both are crucial. 4. Beware of comparisons, opinions, emphasis, and connections between cause and effect. 5. Pay attention to the author's signposting expression, which often indicates new subjects.
Now, we will discuss about, how can I improve my language proficiency? 1. Develop your skills outside test contexts. Listening skills at the level required for OET grade A or B are developed by listening regularly to a wide range of speech, at natural speeds, from different speakers in different contexts. Don't limit your listening practice to test preparation materials. Broaden your ability to deal with new content and unfamiliar voices by listening to programs on the radio and online lectures. Try to listen to sources where a speaker is giving their own point of view. This will give you good practice in identifying and following a speaker's line of argument and attitude, which is a different skill from picking out factual content. 2. Use the right skills for each part of the sub-test. Listening Part A is about gathering specific information, usually from the patient. You can write the information exactly as you hear it on the recording. You don't have to spend time making sure your grammar is perfect. Often, grammar words such as articles or prepositions are provided in the answer key as a non-essential part of the answer. OET assessors are trained to accept small grammatical and spelling errors. Listening Part B is about understanding the gist, main idea, of communication between two healthcare colleagues, a healthcare professional and their patient, or by a healthcare professional to a group of colleagues. You need to choose the best option from 3 which represents the content of the communication. All the answer options may be mentioned, so it's important to check which one is covered completely. Listening Part C involves 2 main types of listening. You need to demonstrate deeper comprehension of the meaning of what has been said, rather than the main idea. For all parts of the test, use the pauses included in the recording to read the question booklet carefully. This will help you identify what you need to listen for. Remember that to answer correctly, it may not be necessary to understand every word you hear. In multiple choice tasks, be careful not to choose an option just because you hear a word or phrase from it on the recording. Think about the whole meaning of what is said, and match it to the closest option. In Part A, where you have to write down information as note completion, listen for words which indicate the structure of what the speaker is saying. This includes names or terms, which match headings on the page. These will help guide you through the information on the page and choose answers which fit, logically. 3. Manage your time in the sub-test. In the test, you hear the recording only once, so it's important to write your answers as you listen. But remember to check your answers afterwards. There are short breaks between each question where you can do this, and also a 2-minute period at the end of the sub-test. Use this time to check that you have clearly answered each question and written your answers for Part A legibly. 4. Complete the question booklet correctly. In Part A, write your answers directly onto the lines provided for the 2 extracts in the question booklet. The length of the line should be sufficient to write the correct answer. Parts B and C are computer marked, so it's essential that you follow the instructions provided on the front page of the question booklet when entering your answers. You must fill in the circle containing your chosen answer, A, B or C, using a 2B pencil. Working as quickly as you can, shade in the whole of the circle including the letter with your pencil, so it can be clearly read by the computer. If you want to change your answer, erase it, and fill in the circle of the answer you now want to choose.
A lot of times, healthcare professionals can have inquiries regarding the occupational English test. In the below mentioned OET FAQs, we have tried to explain to candidates wanting to appear for the examination all the important Across all three parts, a range of accents are used to reflect the global nature of the healthcare workforce. The main accents are Australian, British, American, and other varieties such as New Zealand, Irish, Canadian, South Africa, etc. In Part A, you must complete the notes using the same words you hear on the recording. You should not paraphrase the information and you should not change the information. You can use abbreviations that are commonly accepted in your profession, and which are clear to other professionals, for example BP, for blood pressure. However, you should avoid abbreviations that are specific to a particular workplace or specialism, because these might not be commonly understood. OET assessors are trained to accept a reasonable range of abbreviations, but OET does not refer to any specific dictionaries or lists. In the listening sub-test, you will not be penalized for misspelling, provided the meaning is clear to other healthcare professionals. Any reasonable attempt at spelling the correct answer has a good chance of being accepted. Names for conditions and medications are often difficult to spell, and we try to ensure that candidates are not disadvantaged by this. Where possible, reference is made in the audio recording to both the generic and brand names for medications, and to both medical and lay terms discussed during the consultations. The marking guide gives assessors extensive guidance on the range of misspellings which are to be accepted. Please note that the listening sub-test is different from the reading and writing sub-tests, in the way misspellings are treated. New listening tests are written for each test session incorporating new material, and the grade boundaries are adjusted slightly for each test, to allow for minor differences in the difficulty of items included in that particular version. The number of marks needed to secure grade B will therefore vary. However, test takers awarded grade B, a scale score of 350, will typically have a score of at least 30 marks. Well, it is recommended that you shall provide only appropriate or relevant answers. Providing extra information may not lead to any penalty. However, there are chances that your answer may go wrong. Part A is aimed at assessing your ability to pinpoint and organize critical information in a healthcare setting. This means that you recognize which aspects of the recording are relevant to your patient's health, and you understand where to put this information. Part B is assessing whether or not you understand specific information presented to you in English. You must be able to listen for the information that fits each question appropriately, and ignore any extra information presented to you. The audio recordings will be played only one time by the examiner. Therefore, it's recommended that please be attentive during the listening sub-test. This is a frequently asked question about capital letters. If you are studying for the test, the simple answer is to copy the medication as it is written in the case notes. For an answer which is transferable to everyday life, here are the rules about when to capitalize and when not to. Generally, generic drug names do not need a capital letter. Brand names for drugs do need a capital letter. For Part A, you must write your answers in the space provided in the question booklet. For Part B and Part C, you must shade the lozenge next to the appropriate answer. Answers written elsewhere in your booklet will not be marked. It is a good idea to use the sample tests to familiarize yourself with the different task formats you will find in the test. Yes, you will have 2 minutes at the end of the sub-test to check your answers for all 3 parts of the sub-test. You will listen to each part of the test once only, so you must write your answers in the question booklet as you listen. Below are 8 OET recommended learning resources for the listening sub-test. Check them out during your review, to improve your listening skills. Here, some of the common abbreviation and symbols. Screenshot the abbreviation if you want. I hope this video is useful for exam appearing people. Please like and subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to get new video updates. Don't forget to share this video.